Welcome back to It's Whatever, right? I'm your host, Jen, and this week is going to be another sustainability podcast. I did one of these quite a few podcasts back if you want to go check out that one. First, if you're new to the podcast, but in the last few 6 months, I have, I'm like, every day is a new day, and I'm still learning and growing in sustainability. And it's now the end of June, May, oh God. July is in a few days. It's like the end of June now. Um, and now that COVID, the lockdown is slowly being lifted, today's sustainability podcast is basically going to be how I tried to live as most sustainable as I humanly can, especially during COVID, since that we weren't really allowed to use our reusable produce bags and grocery bags inside the grocery stores or anything. So that was kind of like really difficult and very annoying and tedious. At the same time, I also found out something new, to which I'm still kind of learning about. Um, Apparently, it's actually really funny that I should say this, because you are streaming this either on YouTube or downloading and streaming this on Apple Podcast. Um, I actually heard about this a few weeks ago. Um, I follow this girl. I think she's in England or something, somewhere around in Europe. Um, on YouTube, funny. Um, where she told in the video that apparently streaming, like watching YouTube or Netflix and like Disney Plus or things like that. Streaming videos and music when we listen to our music on YouTube or on Apple. I have Apple products, so most of my music, my playlists are my music is coming from Apple when I get my music, or I like stream and download the music and get them on my playlist. Apparently, all of that I just mentioned is not sustainable, apparently. So I did write a little article about it. You can check that out. I'll like on my vocal account, on my writing account, I'll post a link down below. But basically, it it's not sustainable. It does cause there is a carbon footprint to it, and I was like, there's no fucking way that, like, I'm still trying to get like a grasp on this. Yeah, there's like no fucking way that watching a video online is not more sustainable. Is not sustainable in a way. In a way, it is more sustainable to watch a movie online, for an example, rather than have the hard copy of a movie. Because, like, they gotta make the movie on a disc or and then the cover is plastic. And then they gotta ship it to the store or have it shipped to your house. So yes, in a way, streaming and downloading is sustainable in that way because you physically don't have the physical copy of something. Like I'm working at trying, like, so as a human being, it is physically impossible to, this podcast is going somewhere. I promise, it's going somewhere. As a human being, it is physically impossible to be 100% sustainable. Unless you're going to live out in the boonies and completely off the land, it is 100% impossible to be 100% perfect 100% all of the fucking time. So in that sense, there's only so much you can do, and that is what I've been learning over, like, I've been doing this for a year and a half now, and I'm going to admit I'm not perfect, in my sustainable journey, in multiple different departments. For an example, for one, I am vegan, so that kind of has a sense in it too. But the thing is, I do like my junk food, to which I'm trying very hard to. I was really good before COVID, and then COVID came, and they were all like, well, bored in the house and the house bored. So, kind of slipped up in my healthy diet there. We all gained that COVID-15, right? So, in a sense, that's not really like sustainable because there's packaging there. Unless you are going to, most of the time I did bake everything myself, but like I had said earlier, you can't really go, for an example, I haven't been to the Bulk Bar in a while. I'm one of those get it all in one sitting, and my stuff will last like 2-3 months before I end up getting to the bottom of the jar. But the last time I was in the Bulk Barn, they had, it's like this local, it's like self-explanatory, where you go and you get all, like, have all of your baking needs and stuff like that, like your chia seeds, flax seeds and stuff, and you just kind of fill up your little bag or jar. I have, like, reusable bags for, like, the Bulk Barn, so that I can get, like, my flour and stuff like that from there. But the last time I was there, they had to, like, you go in with your shopping list, you couldn't bring anything in, and they practically walked around with you, and you told them what you wanted and how much you need, and then they filled the bags up themselves. But unfortunately, it was in those plastic, stupid, horrible bags, which in a way is horrible because plastic, but two for good because I have cats and I use those bags in the end. I reuse them as kind of like, I also have a dog, so I kind of like reuse them to clean up after my pets. So in a way that's okay, but it's kind of like, work with what you got. And like the same thing with the grocery stores. They do clean the shopping carts and stuff, so I was good in the shopping stores and not get any of those produce bags. Just put it in the cart. The cart's clean. Because they clean it, and then you walk in, and then they give you the clean cart, and then you go to your shopping. So I did end up getting a couple of shopping bags. Bad on my part, but then I was like, wait a minute. When you go shopping at Costco, they don't bag your stuff. There's no options to get bags. Unless you bring your own bag, and bag it yourself. They practically just scan it and put it right back in the cart. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And then one of the stores I shop at, they started allowing us to bring our own bags back in, like our own shopping bags and produce bags. Um, yes, I'm aware that my local grocery store isn't technically sustainable, isn't really helping out the farmers and stuff, but my local farmers market, I'm in the process of looking for one. There is one in my city, but when going through the farmers market, it's very hard to find nowadays. To, like, out of, let's say, 10 booths that you go to, only 2 of them are actually the actual farmer. So you have like 2 out of 10 people that you go shop at. And I recently heard that, I don't know if like they're open or to like the public or not, but haven't like really looked into it. I really want to go like strawberry picking and like go to the what is it, in Winona in Ontario, to go pick my own strawberries and peaches and stuff. I heard that you can. I gotta look at this and I gotta look into this. But you can't like taste anything, and once you're in a row, that's practically your row. Until you get to the end, and that's like game over. But which is fine, no big deal, understandable. But I'm kind of interested to be able to go check that out and see how well it goes. Um, at the same time, since my last sustainability podcast, I do have a garden. If you guys aren't following me on my YouTube channel, my main channel, The Jen Show, you guys can see a garden there. I basically have a garden. I try to plant the most expensive veggies, because like they're so expensive. And another good part of sustainability is to, like I said, it's very hard to find at your market the actual growers, the actual farmers. So I was like, okay, I will start growing my own garden. Um, Again, it's all that's more sustainable than having to go to the grocery store, and or the farmer's market, 'cause like it's in your own garden, right? In my garden, I have I might probably won't get them all off the top of my head. I have zucchini, cucumber, green beans, eggplant, kale, lettuce. I have hot banana peppers, regular green peppers. I have green onions, just regular white onions. I'm trying to regrow celery. I am attempting pumpkins. Um, I also have a sweet potato, broccoli, cauliflower. I also have 2 different kinds of tomatoes and strawberries. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a couple of things, but that's like basically the gist of everything that's in my garden. Like I said, I'm literally trying very hard, and in my opinion, during COVID, there's only so much during COVID, there is only so much sustainability that you can do, because of the pandemic will only allow you to do so much. Unfortunately, like I had mentioned, during the pandemic, you couldn't bring your own reusable bags in. I mean, growing your own little garden is so much better, and because it's like right there in your backyard, if you're physically have the space and able to grow such thing in your garden, like in your yard or your balcony. um so yeah, Um, but during the pandemic, I'm very lucky to still be able, I mean, first world problems, but still able to try and keep down the amount of garbage and recycling that I am still producing, because like I said, you can't be 100% sustainable, zero waste, no trash, no garbage, unless you live out in the boonies off the land. But I would like you to try and do that. Many people have tried that. I'm sure there are people who are currently doing that. But some shows have followed them, some people, and they didn't really work out so well. But yeah, basically, um, as a human being, as a single human being, there's only so much I can physically do to be as sustainable and clean as I can. One little thing does, like, it might not seem like it, but changing one thing or doing one thing does change so much. Um, but I do drive a car for work every day. It is a little harder for me to just ride my bike everywhere due to the work that I am doing as my day job. I mean, I could always just change my job, but I enjoy my day job. Unless a miracle happens and I win the lottery. Unfortunately, to me, it would be like very hard to ride a bike everywhere. I mean, some people, they do ride a bike everywhere for at my work, like where I work. And congrats on them. But uh, in my in my daily schedule, it's a little bit more difficult since where all of my work spots are, but I'm probably just making excuses. But anyways, in other departments in my life, like in my eating habits, or not necessarily, I shouldn't say my eating habits, but in my groceries and in my bathroom products and whatnot, that's more sustainable in a way, of growing my garden and not buying products in plastic. And if it does come in plastic, it's like a biodegradable, and I do my research on all that stuff. But like I said, not everybody's perfect. Um, Also, like I had mentioned earlier on in this podcast, I had found out that streaming and downloading is not considered sustainable, and it's actually really bad for the environment because it does have a big carbon footprint to it. And I recently, like I said, I wrote an article on it. In 1 second I'll bring it up and I can like read you my article of like some of the research. I'm still currently like looking into like this. It's just like a little article that I wrote. If you guys want, you can follow the read. I'm pretty much gonna just skim through it and pretty much summarize it. But it's on my Vocal account in Jen Moose on Vocal. I named it Apparently Streaming is Bad. How can something so mainstream be so bad for the environment? It's like basically anything, really. Like, how is anything mainstream good or bad for like the environment, right? So yeah, basically the past year, over a year, I have been on a journey of becoming more sustainable and becoming more of like a minimalist. I'm 27 now, and objects and materials don't really bring me joy. Um, just like they don't bring me as big of as joy as they used to. I enjoy just the basic pick up a camera, go for a hike, read a book. But I can download a book. Here we go. And just like listen to an audiobook or just read it on my phone or something. Like, I don't really need or watch like a documentary, you know what I mean? Like, and that's where it's like, oh my god, and now apparently that's bad for the environment too. Um, but yeah, one of the main reasons why I only have internet is so I don't have to, like, I don't have cable at my house because I don't like I see it's so pointless in wasting money. Like, money's like one of those like things where people it's funny, like, you know, you don't need money. I think I made this a podcast as well. Money isn't everything, but at the same time, money is everything. If, like, you can live off of, like, hardly any money, and if you're very good with your money, you won't be in debt, or you won't, I don't even know how to put this, but yeah, you basically need to prioritize all of your bills and such like that. For an example, reuse it, or yeah, like I said, I am trying to regrow some veggies like spinach and celery because they can sometimes be expensive, and you just put it back in your garden and it regrows. I've had success on that, and having a garden in the backyard does actually bring it's like a little pricey at the beginning, but in the long end it kind of like saves you money at the same time, and it's also more sustainable. So with cable, I don't see a point. I have a cell phone, so I don't really have like a home phone. I don't see a point of having internet because I don't see a point of having cable because I have internet. I can watch Netflix. I can watch Disney Plus and stream and download everything. So why the fuck am I going to? I can find everything on the internet. Like, to me, the internet is like the best thing on the planet. So I'm not going to have cable and pay for it if I'm only physically watching like 2 or 3 channels. That to me is a waste of money. So yeah, with that said, having so I don't go out and buy new physical movies and DVDs and albums. I just buy them if I really want the DVD or something. I just buy it on my iTunes account and buy the album. One, it's a little cheaper, I guess, and that way I have like the digital copy of it. But apparently that's not sustainable. Um, so in today's society, we are so caught up on Netflix and chill and trying to save some money on nights out and at the theater. But how much is that? But how much is that really saving the environment? You're essentially taking one carbon footprint and putting it somewhere else. So yeah, basically taking, instead of companies taking that same movie, like let's say The Notebook, um, burning the discs and making the plastic covers and putting on the shelf so you can go buy it. Instead of doing that, you're now just downloading the digital copy version of it. Um, you're essentially taking one carbon footprint and putting it somewhere else. In some theory, it helps, but at what cost? Streaming videos accounts for most of the world's internet traffic, roughly 60%. Even down to streaming music has an unintended environmental consequences. This is a quote that I had found on EcoWatch. In the article that I had got published earlier today, actually. You can find the link to it when you click on the EcoWatch. In 2018, only video traffic was responsible for more than 300 million tons of CO2, equivalent to what a country the size of Spain releases a year for all sectors combined. When streaming things, it gets put into a temp folder on your internet and is erased when stuff is needed. Streaming videos and music don't get saved on your hard drive, but it remains on the internet's web server. Maybe that's the problem, and how does this have to do with anything? Well, at any time we pick up a smartphone or log into our computers for one of these, things do require electricity, which uses fossil fuels, and this produces carbon dioxide and contribute to heat-trapping greenhouse gases. So yeah, in a sense that way, when you turn on your computer, to plug in your smartphone to listen to this podcast even, it's using some sort of electricity to which you had to plug in. You have to plug in your computer in order to use it, your desktop. You gotta charge your phone, or your tablet in order to turn it on to listen to this podcast even. So in that sense, yeah, each activity that you do on each of those devices online comes with another price of more carbon dioxide, since the energy it run to run each of the programs and power the wireless network that are being used. Think about the data centers that need to be able to keep up with the demand in order to support the internet and the content we access. By now, over half the world's population, about 53.6 or something like that, uses the internet. After a while, this does add up. There are 7 billion people living on this planet. There's a prediction that these numbers will double by the year in 2025. That's only 5 years from now. And we're already halfway through 2020. Not like we don't already have enough problems this year. On the way to become more sustainable with our electricity is, even though that our resources are actually limited, and this is a global issue, so it would require the whole population being able to be powered by renewable energy. But this goal is kind of like a long shot in such a short time, which means in the meantime slowing down on the internet usage. Like I said, half the population is using the internet, so that's kind of like really, really hard for everything. You would think since the 80s, we would having a computers have come a long way in over 40 years. So you would think that we have the technology to do so much, but you would think by now in 2020 we would have technology to help with our global warming issue. Global warming is a mankind, it's made by mankind, so there's only so much that one single person can do, but one single person, yeah, okay, let's see if I can say this properly. One single person can't change the world, but one single person can make a difference in their day-to-day lives. One person can't change the world, but one person can kind of make a trend. That's so bad to say, but once one person starts a trend, all of a sudden now it's a trend and everybody wants to do it. So it would be kind of cool if there are a lot of people right now who are living more of a sustainable lifestyle, and it would be just cool and better if everybody was on the same page and on the same goals, trying to make this a better world for us. Like, you have, like, those people who are like, yeah, I recycle, I properly dispose of my trash. Okay, but how are you... Yeah, you may be recycling and using your trash properly, but at the same time, in what sense are you trying to reduce the amount that you are using? Yeah, that's just my opinion. Even with streaming and surfing the net is bad for the environment, but it also, like, not just... like, when I was researching for this article's a little over the place, but so is this podcast. But at the same time, as bad as internet and streaming is bad for the environment, it's also bad for your health as well. Some of the symptoms of online addicts are anxiety, depression, isolation, defensiveness. It is a good way to avoid doing any work, and it's also very terrible for your eyes. The physical, that's just like mentally. Physically, like I said, bad for your eyes. You get backache. You can experience backaches, headaches, weight loss, weight gain, disturbance in sleep, and carpal tunnel. I'm very bad at that. I do get, like, really bad, like, it's called optimal headaches, staring at my screen, doing, like, editing content and stuff all the time. And then, like, the past 2-3 weeks, I've been up since, like, 2 in the morning, but I'm thankful that I don't work till, like, 9 a.m., so at least I get, like, some sort of sleep. But basically the rest of my article is just, like, we've come a long way in today's busy world, but with sustainable living becoming a new trend in today's world, you would think that we would be getting better at reducing our carbon footprint and moving into another platform. In a way, it is better since we're not necessarily getting a hard copy of something, but with the technology growing, I would think so would our knowledge and finding a better solution and living more sustainable. I know that today's podcast is kind of, like, all over the place. That's just, like, basically my update on my sustainability lifestyle. It's not really like a lifestyle. It's like a journey of trying to live more sustainable, trying to be more ethical in my lifestyle, like in living in general, because I would love to live in a cleaner and better world, but in order to do so, you yourself need to live a better and healthier lifestyle. Anyways, with that said, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Please check out some of the links that I have posted in the description down below. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share so everybody else can share the same experience as you. If you listen to this on YouTube, feel free to comment down below. I am always up for debates and discussions and any new topics that you guys would like to hear in the future. Until next time, bye!